Hey guys, Phaetox here with another demo. This is for In Search of Senpai, one of the teams that I'm coaching. Um, for the majority of the video I'm just going to be addressing them, but anyone is free to watch this. It should be in the Facebook group and on the YouTube channel. So I'm just going to jump right in. There's a couple things I wanted to focus on for this replay, and I feel like I've been doing really long commentary videos for you guys, and I want to not overload you with information, so I'm going to try to condense it. We're not even going to watch all of this replay. I'm just going to skip around and probably not even go over the last like 10 or 15 minutes of it because it becomes pretty irrelevant past a certain point. Your team comp, the first thing I wanted to talk about is your team comp's okay. Nunu does have blood boil targets, and Ziggs and Kate have really good siege and poke and tower pushing abilities, and Nunu has the good disengage. Annie is more of a full engage type of champion, so Annie and Irelia kind of both want to dive the backline, while Kate and Ziggs just want to poke from afar and siege and stuff like that. So it doesn't have that great a synergy, but it's not terrible. Irelia can go even with Shyvana because Shyvana's not running Smite, so she won't have skirmishes or anything like that. So you have the opportunity for Irelia to split push. Ziggs and Kate can pretty much get their early towers down pretty quickly because they're really abusive in lane. So if you guys focus on getting those early towers down, then rotating and grouping and just sieging, you can make it really difficult for the enemy team to really do anything because they don't have that much a hard engage. Leona's is only their engage unless like Shyvana gets a TP flank on you or something. Volibear is just gonna run at you, and Malzahar is not gonna engage, neither is Jinx, so you guys have the potential to have good win conditions here. Irelia also has good kill pressure on the enemy backline, other than obviously the Malzahar trying to suppress her. So Irelia, if the enemy team does engage, all you have to do is wait for a window of opportunity, because Leona's gonna go in to your team, and then Malzahar is not going to save his ulti for forever, so Malza will probably ulti the first available target, and as soon as Leona goes in and Malz ults, you can just straight up dive Malzahar or Jinx, and you can just walk over them. But you guys don't really want to pick fights right away. You want to let Kate and Ziggs poke. Also, Annie needs to build defensive. I see you going like Sork Shoes and Zonias and stuff like that. That's not really good. You mainly just want to be the initiation, the stun bot, and then be able to suck up all the aggro, because you have to get in pretty close range to initiate, and you can straight up die after that and you'll have done your job, but you should try to soak up as much of the enemy cooldowns onto yourself as possible, so you would want to get tanky. And also you need to build towards that goal of initiating, so you need to rush the distortion enchantment. You should get Righteous Glory instead of Zonia's, stuff like that. Because Zonia's is going to drop aggro, and you don't want to drop aggro, you want to soak it up so that it's not on your carries. A lot of people play Annie and build AP, and if you watch like professional games and stuff like that, they all just build tanky. Like they'll get Sight Zone, Righteous Glory, Locket, things like that. So I'm going to start jumping around here. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is, I know I showed you guys these videos talking about training stances and stuff like that, the long lecture. It's actually the first lecture video. And right here, you guys are not using it at all. And this entire time, so you guys can win this lane pretty easily. Leona can get easily poked out. Kate has longer range than Jinx, until Jinx really gets her Q higher levels. And you do an okay job here. You pull a little bit of minion aggro, but right there you should have been hitting Leona. Like, you need to be helping Annie harass. And because you're not punishing Leona at all, Leona actually gets to step in further even after taking harass, and then Jinx gets to go on you. So, and what you need to focus on is abusing your auto attack range. So you can be in range to hit Jinx where she can't retaliate damage, and you can be further away from the creeps while last hitting. So right here, you're like taking a really aggressive stance as if you guys have a lead, and Leona's early kill pressure is actually pretty good. I mean, she doesn't have like her full stun combo yet or anything, but like Like right here, you should be hitting her, and you need to be kiting circularly around, because if you had came downward to hit her, then that'd be fine, and Jinx would have not been able to just run straight at you. So you need to like kite around this way and hit, or you can just be, if you reacted faster, Jinx probably wouldn't have came in too much, because Leona wouldn't have came in like that. The only reason Jinx steps in is because Leona aggresses. So if you had helped Annie zone her off more, then they wouldn't have pushed it on you. And so now you kind of took a bad trade, and there's a couple examples that I'll really specifically show where you aren't consciously paying attention to where you're standing in relative position to the minion wave and the enemy champion and stuff like that. So right there you didn't respect Leona's zone at all. And then here you healed, you need to be pushing back in. If you had landed that Q, would have killed her. But here you kind of you stop following her in. You turn and start farming while Annie's still trying to set up kills for you. And you let Annie die. Like you were way too passive there. And then the other main example of that I wanted to show you, well actually there's three more. Let's see if I can find my timestamps here. Okay, so here's one. So right here, your entire goal, so Jinx is coming back to lane, right? And your goal here is to push this wave to the tower so that you guys can go back and buy. You're low on mana, Jinx just bought, you'd like to go spend gold too. Because you're sitting on like 1,000. So, I mean, you can upgrade your boots to Zerkers, or you can get Cloak of Agility, or Vamp Scepter, and whatever you want to go for. So, but right here, you guys you finish clearing the wave, and instead of backing up to go by, you keep pressing forward, and then you just get punished and engaged on forward, and Jinx comes back in the lane, fresh man and everything. And you guys just get Shrek'd here. So Annie dies. So that was bad positioning and bad conscious rotations and what you're supposed to be doing. So you guys should have known, Jinx backed, I'm out of mana, we can push this wave to the tower and then go back and buy. There's no reason to try to push in on the tower right there. Especially when Kate doesn't have any mana and Leona has ult up and your summoners were down from that earlier fight. So just super risky. And then here, this is really what I'm talking about with you not remembering the trading stance lectures. So, and Leona goes back here. So if Leona had stayed, you staying here at all would have been really bad, because they would have just dove you and killed you. So right here, this is you not abusing your range, and you're taking the trading stance, but at a time that you shouldn't. So you have no backup, you have no mana, you're low health, and Jinx obviously, is pretty big right now. So you need to respect your damage. So when you don't want to trade, you don't take the trading stance. So right here, you're pretty much almost melee farming these creeps, and you're in range to get harassed if Jinx wanted to hit you. You have lots of range. You could be farming from back here and be safe. So, but instead you're stepping up and you're really close to Jinx. So this is a really aggressive stance, and you need to understand the consequences of your positioning. So basically what you're telling Jinx when you position like that is, I want to fight you. And so she's going to react and fight you, because obviously she's like, okay, you want to fight, let's go. You're low health, low mana, and your support's not here. So you aggress onto her and then just get killed for it. So just remember that the trading stance videos, they're not like blanket statements. You shouldn't always be doing that. They explain when to take the stance, when to back off, the different stances you should take. So go back, rewatch those videos, and you need to start applying that into your games, not just watch them and be like, oh, I know what they're talking about, and then not practice it. I need you to put that into practice every single game. And I need you to be conscious of where you're standing and what that means and what that is saying to your teammates and to the enemy. Because you may be just walking around, moving around, not realizing what that like champion body language is saying, and it's really important to understand that and position appropriately. And then there was another time where you guys 21 minutes. So you guys did a decent push here, but and this isn't so much the part that matters. So we're gonna speed through. So there, they die, and here instead of running, you turn back to like hit them more. You guys are 2v4. I understand that their health isn't all that high, but your mana's pretty low. Jinx is pushing your bot tower, which is definitely gonna die right here. And then there you back off and then you like go back in. So you guys are still staying around in a 2v4 after you've lost 2 people. There's no reason for you to be staying here wave clearing this. This is saying that like you guys want to keep fighting. And I know Ziggs probably has a lot of damage here, but there was no zone control. His minefield was down and he didn't satchel this area. I mean, you could have satcheled this area, but then that's just disengaged and you guys, there's no point of have been here anyway. And this minefield should have been in the center to hit more people rather than over on the side. Could have been placed in the center, but there's no reason for you guys to still be extended there. So that was another instance of you positioning over aggressively when you don't have any sort of advantage there. And then Jinx is pushing tier 2 because you guys are still messing around up top. Ziggs is your main wave clear, so it would have been nice to have you guys port back. And so that's the main thing I want to bot lane to focus on is your positioning, your trading stances, when to take it, when not to take it, your rotations, be conscious of where you are, what needs to be happening on the map. I feel like you guys are just subconsciously moving around, taking whatever is in front of you, and you need to have a game plan and know what you're supposed to be doing. The main thing I wanted to talk about for mid and jungle, and even the whole team in general actually, you guys need to use more pings. I know you're all in Skype and communicating with your voices, but if you go back and watch this demo, the enemy team was like ping, 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 like ping everything that they were talking about. So even if you're saying, oh, so-and-so is at our red buff, like put a ping with it. So so-and-so's at a red buff, ping like where they are exactly. It just helps. It's an extra thing to go with your voice communication to really make your teammates pay attention and understand what you're saying. Or if you're like, I'm on the way, you know, ping your path so that they know where you're coming in from with the on the way pings and stuff like that. If you're saying back off, you should use the retreat ping on the champion that you're talking about backing off so that it's not just everyone backing off of everywhere, stuff like that. So try to use more pings, but don't just ping and not say anything. Like don't use MIA pings without saying anything. Like call MIAs and ping MIA. The ping is like an assistance tool. So you need to be using both. It should be going along with your verbal communication and emphasizing it. And then for Nunu, you get really, I'm gonna go back to the early levels. You focus a lot on over pressuring. Yeah, you stay top for way too long. This doesn't look great. Okay, so here, this is a decent, you know, you come in on her. But there's no reason for you to like stay top like this. Like you come back in, consume minions, trying to zone. You end up looping around, which this loop is fine because you're trying to get a gank off, but all she does is run down river, so it doesn't really accomplish anything. And then you still stay and you sap more XP from Irelia, so you're putting her behind without really pressuring that much. And then you go up and just like start auto attack trading Shyvana. There's no reason for you to be staying up in this lane. All you're doing is sapping XP from Irelia, and you're getting behind Volibear. And another thing is, like, Nunu has really good early drag pressure, even at like level 3 and 4. So you staying top this entire time is pretty much giving the team no reason to be concerned about this area of the map. It's the same thing with like why people play Eve. Like the enemy team not knowing where you are is a really strong tool to scare opponents off and like make them play a little bit more passively, stuff like that. You need to level more though, like you need to farm more and move around the map more. And it's not so much that you're not clearing or that you're not getting lane XP, it's that you're spending a lot of time walking around not really accomplishing anything. So the main thing I want you to focus on is always be doing something. In your next couple games, I want you to always be focused on, what am I doing right now? Am I clearing a camp? Am I ganking? You shouldn't be lurking around waiting for a gank for too long. You need to just, clear. If you go for a gank, go straight in. You're new, you can ice ball them. If you don't get anything off of it, go back to clearing. Stay in fog, go solo dragon, something like that. Like, you need to be using your time efficiently. Because Volibear gets quite a few levels up on you. And you stay level 4, like, you don't hit level 5 until like 8 minutes into this game. And you had hit 4 in top lane up here before you even backed. So you're the same level for like 3 or 4 minutes. Which is really bad, especially in the early game when it doesn't take that much to level. And I like that you're rushing Sightstone, but you need to at least upgrade your machete first. You need to get the Trailblazer, and you need to... Like, Trailblazer, Sightstone, and Cinderhulk would be fine. I would go Cinderhulk before Boots even, because Blood Boil helps your mobility, and you really just want that tank stats to help clear the jungle and keep you leveled. And it's really good for doing Dragon too. But you actually rush Moby Boots before you even finish Cinderhulk. So... And the machete is another reason why you, so this, you go to solo dragon, but you don't have any vision control. You don't have any vision in the enemy jungle. Bot lane didn't rotate up at all. Ziggs was pushing, and Malzahar wasn't here, but you had no idea where Leona was, and Volibear. So it was super risky. If you had put, especially since they had the Scuttle, I didn't even think about this. Yeah, so this Scuttle is here. They got it. You can see this. This isn't like an invisible word that you don't know is there. You should not be doing Dragon when they can see you doing it. You need to be sneaking it when, Volibear shows up top lane, or when bot lane backs, or something like that. And when you have vision control of the area, when you've swept or put a peak ward, or they don't have Scuttle, things like that. So this is just really, really bad right there. And especially considering Volibear is already a level above you, and Leona goes Mia, you should have at least backed off of this, knowing that danger was incoming. So yeah, you actually max consume last this game, which might be part of the problem. I know a couple of new players like to max E first, but you should put a couple early points in consume even if you plan on doing that. And then you definitely should max it before Blood Boil, because you need consume to secure objectives, especially with Volibear having like Smite Bite, like that's a pretty good steal potential. So especially for you in low elo, I would just say just max consume, because you'll farm faster, you'll stay leveled more properly, you'll be able to solo dragon faster, you'll get more health back while you're sieging, because you'll be healing more off of your Q. Just a combination of things. Go ahead and just max consume first. And don't try to solo stuff without vision. Establish vision control, but you need to upgrade Trailblazer and get Cinderhulk sooner too. So like if instead of rushing Sightstone, if you had just got that first Trailblazer and then swept this area and made sure that Scuttle wasn't up, or if you had got like Trailblazer and one pink ward and just pinked it and made sure Scuttle wasn't up, you could have soloed it just fine. Because the Trailblazer will heal you up more, help you sap it. So lots of things you could have done differently, but Nunu is really good right now, so I want you to keep working on this. And it's very small changes that you have to make. It's not anything drastic, so if you just max consume first, prioritize Trailblazer and Cinderhulk more. The Sightstone is good, keep doing that, but maybe get it after Trailblazer. So Trailblazer, Sightstone, Cinderhulk. Make sure you prioritize Cinderhulk over Moby Boots. You could have just sat on tier 1 boots, or just get Cinderhulk first and then tier 1 boots, because Blood Boils mobility. Don't waste your time, make sure that you're always doing something. So that's what I want you to focus on. Nothing else this game really matters. I just want you to focus on that and put that into practice in your next game. And then as far as shot calling goes, so like actually I can play from here. So right here, you guys go and there's a call, well not right here. So you guys will get a kill on Leona. And then you kind of mess around bot lane. So I think the call here was, oh, we killed Leona, let's do Dragon, but Leona's already spawned and coming back. Mid isn't pushed. Irelia does have TP pressure because Shiv is MIA, but Shiv could also just be running straight down here. Bot lane hasn't even rotated up yet, and bot lane's low health. There's no reason to start this drag. They have the scuttle. Leona backed, but she's on the way back. Jinx didn't back, she's still there, and you, like, now you know where Volibear is, but before, like, Volibear was still in the vicinity. There was no reason to be like, oh, the jungler's top, let's do drag. So this is a really bad call. So you want to drag, like, if the bot lane backs or if this wave is pushed. Like, this wave isn't pushed, like, this is right here. Even though you guys killed Leona, this wave isn't pushed. Even though Malzahar isn't there, like, you still want your waves pushed before you drag in. You don't want to do drag while enemy has scuttle up, and especially when you have only 1 point in consume, you don't even have a Trailblazer, so you tanking this thing is really inefficient. And it's not so much that other people should be tanking it, it's just that you should be able to tank this at this point, so more points to consume. Trailblazer would help you do that. But Volibear is just gonna come in here, you're gonna die in balance. Like, there's no reason, you guys don't have an advantage to do Dragon Forth. There's really no point in doing that. So, I know that you have Nunu and you want early dragons, but make sure you're not just, like, desperately trying to do it at any point possible. You guys have to have advantages and know when it's safe to do it and when it's not safe to do it. And then the only other main things I wanted to point out in this replay was, oh, also here, Irelia needed to TP like 15 seconds before she did. This was a really late TP, and I think I pointed this out on one of the other replays as well. So you can start TPing at like 9:42 or so. So here, as soon as Volibear shows up on this board, you should pretty much know that it's going to be contested. And Jinx isn't down here pushing, and you know that she didn't back. So everyone converges on this. So especially here, as soon like Malzahar comes into vision. Let's see if I can toggle the fog appropriately. Yeah. So you see Mouse come in, and Volibear's on this ward, so you 100% know that they're coming in to contest this now. So you can even TP to this ward to try to help zone Volibear off, considering he's not that tanky yet. So at 9:48 you can start TPing. So I might have. I mean, you could have came in sooner just to secure the objective, but you might have thought you didn't need to. But as soon as Malzahar showed up, you definitely needed to, and then you TP'd like about 10 seconds late. And I mean, the ensuing fight doesn't really matter. It was super sloppy. But if you guys just have cleaner grouping and cleaner, I mean, they shouldn't have been doing the dragon period, but because of what was happening, like there was no way for them to back off at that point. Like they were getting pincered, so you needed to just hurry up and TP in a little bit sooner to help save that. So just try to group a little sooner. Like right here, you guys have 20 farm up mid, 20 farm up top. You guys have good farm advantage. There's no reason to take a poorly timed objective and risk like your lead that you have. You're also a kill up. Like you guys have almost 1,000 gold lead after 2 people die and they still dragon. So you guys have a good lead early game and you kind of just throw it away. I mean, there were a couple of good things this game, so I want to give you guys some positive reinforcement too. There's a really good pick on Shyvana here. You guys do a good job of Irelia pushing people off. Malzahar overextending and you punish him. And then here where Shyvana comes back in, you guys make a really good, clean, concise shot call on, and he gets the stun off and everyone immediately follows up. So that was really good. So that's what I want to see more of. Everyone reacting simultaneously, a clear, concise call, a good call, things like that. And then you guys Here's another example of the bad habit we talked about before with juggling tower aggro really poorly. That's not where I wanted to go. So here, you guys, I probably wouldn't have pushed this. It would have been better to rotate top or bottom and just get the outer towers. You really don't want to break an inhib or try to break an inhib without really a good reason to. Like, you guys don't have like 5th drag or Baron or a banner command or anything like that. You don't have. There's plenty of gold available in the side lanes to push the minions and get the tower. But you guys juggled tower aggro really badly right there. And not that anyone really should have had tower aggro at all, because Ziggs and Kate have the range to poke from afar. So that was a good net to bait Leona in, so you guys do a good job there and get a good pick on Leona. But here, people step up and just pull tower aggro, and it's the wrong people too. Like, Nunu's not tanking, Irelia's not tanking, Nunu's not really tanky enough to tank it right here, but Annie pulls aggro, and then it switches onto Caitlyn, and then onto Irelia. So your carries and your squishies just pull tower aggro one after another, and you guys keep trying to fight rather than disengaging. So, and we talked about that before, but that was just sloppy. But honestly, that was more a result of you guys trying to break the inhib too soon. No one was tanky enough yet. You didn't have side lanes push. You didn't have, you know, any sort of advantage from Baron or Dragon or anything like that to do that with. So that's another example of being overly greedy for objectives when you're not in a position to get them, like the dragon fight earlier. And then you guys have good vision, like you have double sightstone, but you're not really using it. So like right here, oh, right there. So right here, dragon's about to spawn. It keeps, okay, that's 2250-ish is where I wanted to go, but that's okay. So here, dragon's spawning in 20, and you guys have vision in your jungle, but you don't have any, like, you have one ward in the pit, but you don't have any vision in the enemy jungle. You have double sightstone, so it's not really hard to do. And then Nunu, like, solo and goes into fog by themselves, which is really bad. You guys should be grouped more and, like, warding together and rotating around the map together. And you needed to set up vision way sooner. Like, these two wards are good. You needed some wards up here like you had before. And then they had gotten the scuttle. So you guys need to keep a better timer on dragon and set up a little sooner. Make sure that you get the wards out, get the scuttle. That everyone's like healthy with good mana and has spent their gold, stuff like that. Make sure that your power specs are good. That was also just greedy positioning. That was an over-aggressive positioning. If you're trying to contest and steal when you don't really have any steal potential other than like Q. I had a lot more notes, but I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to overload you guys with information, so I think I've said pretty much everything I want you guys to focus on. Everything else is just like sloppy team fights and stuff like that, that we will have plenty more opportunities to go over. So hopefully you guys know what each of you are supposed to be working on now, and if you don't, feel free to ask me and I'll mention the same things again in the next replay commentary. But thanks for watching, and sorry this replay took so long. I actually had to download an old version of the client just to go back and rewatch it, so I'll try to be a little more punctual from now on. But that's it. Thanks for watching.